was 40 years ago today. Boy, it sure doesn't seem that long. You see, I was the designer of the JT-AT 200 series engines, so I'm involved in this flight.
Swissair was the launch customer and therefore got the first airplane deliveries. I can't find any video of the actual first flight, so I'll assume a mid-morning departure out of Terminal A in Zurich. This is my best guess of the route that day. I haven't found any details or videos. We'll fly west out of Switzerland, then cross France, and descend over the Channel into Heathrow.
The initial service was Zurich to London, replacing DC-9-50 service, with a quieter, more fuel-efficient, and with more seats. In 1980, the MD-80 was the quietest, most fuel-efficient short-range airliner. Now in just 40 short years, it burns too much fuel.
Swissair chose the JT-AT-209 engine. I started my design with the reliable JT-AT-9 high-spool core, which had an uncooled turbine. Then I added a newer, higher bypass ratio fan and a new low spool, including an exhaust mixer. This 209 version was good for short-range operations like in Europe. Fuel burn was slightly better than the more powerful 217 version, and maintenance was cheaper. I didn't find any weather information for that day either, so we'll go with today's, 2020, conditions. I'll assume a full passenger load of 125, carry enough fuel for the round trip plus reserves. We're taxiing out to runway 34 today for takeoff. I'm using Rotate's MD-80 model for this flight. It works on both X-Plane 10 and 11. I'm still using 10.51. As you can see, almost all the aircraft functions are represented. It takes some practice before you understand everything. However, you can still fly it right away if you don't mind the warning messages. Let's start our takeoff roll. I'll take off today using the lower power rating of the JT-AT 209, 18,500 pounds. This will be plenty for the 135,000 pound gross weight of today's flight. I am thrilled to present this recreation. Back in 1974, I spent months at Pratt & Whitney developing the configuration for the 200 series JT-ATs. As I completed a design for the engine, at this time we were calling them study engines 157 and 159, the component designers would then review the engine operating characteristics and revise the performance of their parts. Then I would put this update of their components into the computerized engine simulation, rematch the engine, adjusting airflows, rotor speeds, and operating temperatures to meet the customer's mission requirements. Then I'd re-release this latest design to the component designers, and we would go through another iteration till everybody was in agreement that we could build all the components required. I would like to acknowledge my boss, Ray Lickfold, and my mentor, Wayne Kuhn. They allowed me the latitude to work through all the design process, resulting in this very successful engine model. Over 3,000 engines were produced, making it one of the top 10 commercial engine designs. Even more interesting, I was only 2 years out of graduate school, yet allowed to do this significant project. I'd like to thank my professors at the University of Illinois for giving me a wonderful education. Let's sit back and enjoy the climb. I'll put on some MD-80 sounds that I recorded on one of my last MD-80 flights. Oh yes, I do fly in engines I designed.
Let me show you around the cockpit.
Center tank fuel is all used up. We'll turn off the pumps. There's the channel ahead. We'll soon start our descent.
The MD-80 pressurization system requires a slow 800 feet per minute descent above 31,000 feet. Now crossing 31,000 feet, I'll reduce the power to idle, increasing the descent rate.
Here we are crossing the channel. London's ahead.
And here we are, turning to final, 27 left at Heathrow.
I am just a light plane pilot. I hope that was a good enough landing. By the way, my college roommate Bob retired as an MD-80 captain for American Airlines. When I told him, "I designed your engines," he replied, "Well, what grade did you get in that course anyway?" Then I said, "Well, how are the engines?" And he replied, "Just great. I've got 30,000 hours in the MD-80 without an engine failure." By the way, I did get A's in all three courses. Again, I do not know the exact gate for arrival into London, but Swissair used Terminal 2 with all the other European airlines back in 1980.